Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a while, but today I have an exciting and highly requested topic for you. In this video, I will be guiding you through the step-by-step process of applying for a parent's tourist visa to Canada using the new online portal account. But before I talk further, I want to tell you that my wife also applied for parent's tourist visa and it was approved in just 2 weeks. As many of you know that IRCC has streamlined the visitor visa application process with the launch of their new online portal account. This portal uses the AI features to streamline the process, making the entire process more efficient and convenient. IRCC has also clarified that they do not make any final decision on your application using the AI features. They only use the advanced data analytics through AI to help the IRCC officers to process your applications. So if you are planning to bring your parents to Canada and wondering how to use the new online portal account, you are at the right place. I will guide you through each stage of application process, sharing tips and insights to ensure a smooth and successful application. But before we dive in, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. Now let's get started on applying for a parent's tourist visa using the new online portal account. Ready? Let's go. So www.canada.ca. This is the official website for Government of Canada. I will select English for the language. Don't worry about the steps and do not stress too much about where I'm clicking because I will provide all the direct links in the description below. But if for some reasons the direct links do not work, you can always come back and follow along these steps to go to the final application page. Now you see that there are several options. Just click on Visit Canada. And now click on to sign in to your IRCC account. So you have a few options on this page. If you are just looking to apply for a regular visit visa, go to the option 1. And if you are looking to apply for super visa, then you have the option for it as well. And if you want to extend your stay on visit visa for more than 6 months after coming to Canada, then you can follow the process from this page. But in this video, we will only talk about the regular visit visa. So you see that we have two options to start our visit visa application. We have the link for the new portal on the left hand side and the GCK account on the right hand side. So you can still use the GCK account to start your visit visa application. But in this video, I will show you how you can start with your visit visa application process for your parents or for your friends on this new online portal account. So click on Go to IRCC portal. And just to tell you that this is the same online portal which I used to bring my wife to Canada on tourist visa in 2022. I have some detailed video on that, and please check out those videos if you want to apply for your spouse. So basically there are 3 main steps. First, you need to get an invitation code and create the online account on this portal. Second step is to complete the online form and upload your documents. And at last, pay the visa application fees using your credit card. So let's start with step 1. Since we are creating an online account for the first time, so we need the invitation code. We will click here on this button to get the invitation code. Now enter the email address which you want to use for your visit visa application. So I have created a temporary Gmail account for this video purpose only. So enter your email address here, confirm your email address again, and click on the get invitation code. As you can see that I have instantly received the invitation code. I can copy this and use it to create my online account. So I will click on this button, continue to the IRCC portal sign up page. Now paste the invitation code and enter your email address which you want to use for this online account. It's the same email address which you used to get the invitation code. Then choose a password for your account. Enter the surname or last name. So in my case, I will write Gupta. First name, I'll write Arpit because I'm creating account on my name. Then you have to provide your telephone number. So I'll just select Canada. I'm in Canada and I will write the telephone number. Let's say any random number. And once it is done, I will click on sign up. Once you click on that sign up button, a verification code will be sent on your Gmail account. So I have received a new email from IRCC on my Gmail account. I will open this and here I can see that I have the code. I will copy this code and enter the code here. Confirm. So your email address has been verified. So this means that you have successfully created the online account on this IRCC portal. Now just enter the email address and password which you just set and click on the sign in button. Terms and conditions, just click on I accept. And there are some messages you can ignore, and this is your IRCC online portal account. Just to clarify that I have created this online account using my name, but your parents also can create this online account using their name and their email address. And in that case, they will not need any representative to fill this application. But since I have created this account using my name, I should act as a representative for my parents' application. Don't worry, I'll show you later what I mean by this. So remember these 3 steps which we talked about in the beginning of the video. So we have completed the first step, get the invitation code and create the online account and sign in. Now the second step is the most important step, where you will complete all the online forms and upload all the required documents. Since we just created this online account, there is no data. We have not submitted any application so far, and we have not even started any application yet. But once you start any application, you will have 60 days to complete it before it gets deleted from the portal. So make sure that you are only creating the application if you have all the relevant information, or you know that you will be able to submit it within 60 days. On the top, I have the link to start the application. I will click here, apply to visit, study or work in Canada as a temporary resident. You have some further instructions before starting the application. So make sure that you are eligible before you apply, and you have a valid passport or any relevant document, a credit card to pay the application fees. Once you fill out the application, IRCC will tell you that what all documents you need to submit for this application, answer the questions in your application, review your answers, upload your documents, pay your fees, and submit the application. So you have 60 days to complete and submit the application. After that, if you don't submit the application, it will be deleted and you need to create another application. Acknowledge all these steps and click on the Start Application button. The first question is, do you want to apply for more than one person at the same time? So if you want to invite both of your parents, say yes. But if only one person is coming through this application, you can say no. So I'm creating this application for both of my parents. I need to assign them in one group. I will select the group type as family and I will give a name. So I can write parents. It can be any name for this application. So I'll write parents. Click on save and continue. So we have created a group for our parents and now we will add them in this application. You already have space for one person. We will click on add member to add another one, since we are applying for both mother and father. So now we have space for both our parents, father and mother, and we can fill their details individually from here. So I will start with the first one and fill my father's details first. So I will just click on this continue button. And now you have some options. So the first one is, I want to apply for a visitor visa or super visa. And once you click on this option, you will see several options that why do you need a visa. So in my case, I will select this option to visit my grandparent, grandchild, sibling, half sibling, step sibling or non-dependent child who is a Canadian citizen, person registered under Canada's Indian Act or a permanent resident of Canada. So in my case, they are coming to visit me and my wife, and I am their non-dependent children who is also a permanent resident of Canada. So I will choose this option. But if you have any other reason to apply for the tourist visa, then just go through the various options and select the one which is more suitable in your case. Now the next question is, tell us more about what you will do in Canada. Include the dates. So now you have to write a few lines and talk about your plans in Canada, that what you will be doing in Canada. So if I have to write for my parents, I will write something like this. Our son and daughter-in-law are PR in Canada. We want to visit them and spend some quality time. So we are applying for a tourist visa to Canada. Our planned arrival in Canada is on June 1st, 2024. And we intend to stay at their residence in Toronto. During our visit, we plan to explore various nearby tourist attractions in Canada our return journey to India is scheduled for 30th September 2024. So this is a draft or sample version to help you guys. I can modify a few details here and there, but this is just to give you idea how you can fill this information. And now next two questions are very important, that when you will enter Canada and when you will leave Canada. So these are most important points. You should tell IRCC clearly that on which date you are coming to Canada and on which date you will be leaving from here. Throughout this form and in your all documents, just stick with the fixed date of travels. Don't mention like we are coming for 3 weeks or 6 months. Tell them the exact dates. So I will fill the dates here. So the year I will select 2024, June of 1st, and then when you will leave Canada, I'll say 2024, September, the last day, 30. So these will be the planned travel dates for my parents. The next question is about the UCI number. So if you have any UCI number for your parents from their previous applications, you can fill that. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. Since my father or mother never applied for any Canadian visa before, so I will leave it blank and click on save and continue. Now on this page, you will see the documents you need to complete the application and what information you need to enter. So you need a valid passport or a travel document. You need a letter of invitation. I will talk about the letter of invitation in the next video along with the other documents and proofs, so don't worry about that. And then you need to give some of your information like your personal details, your travel documents, talk about your finance, your education history, criminality and security, medical background, and family information. And you may need to provide some more information to IRCC depending on your application. So if you're clear, then just click on continue. Now the next point is about the representative. So here they're asking if you want to appoint a representative. What this means is that someone else is applying for your visit visa on your behalf. In my case, I am applying for my parents' visa and I will be their representative. So I will say yes. And now I have to fill the representative information, which means that I will fill my information here. But if your parents are applying for this visit visa by themselves, they don't need a representative and they can select no and go to the next step. But here I will select yes and fill the details. Who are you in relation to the person you are helping? So, family member. And then my last name, Gupta. First name, Arpit. Telephone type, I'll say cellular, Canada, US, and then I will provide my number. I can just type any random number. And then mailing address, Canada. Start typing your address. So, okay, so I'm just going to fill a random address, 1234 ABC Drive. Not going to search, so I will just put the manual address, 1234 ABC Drive. This is optional. I can say Toronto, province, Ontario, postal code A1A, 1A1, email address. So I'll provide my email address. I can say representative@gmail.com, at gmail.com. So just a sample, email address. Okay. Once you are done with this information, click on save and continue. Now the next question is about the travel documents, which means your passport or your parents' passport, your father's passport here. So I'll say Gupta and first name of my father, let's say SK, and date of birth. I will select a random date of birth, let's say 70. January. And yeah, if you don't know the dates of your parents' birth, you have the option to select unknown for months and day, but not for the years. You have to select a year. Gender male, Just save and continue. Now type of your travel document, what documents you are traveling with. Passport, it's a regular kind. Select the country code. So it is India, which issued the passport. Nationality on your passport, India. What is your passport or travel document number? Just a random passport number, ABC 123456, ABC 123456. Date of issue, I'll select 1st January of 2020. So when your passport was issued, so you can find this information on your passport. And in most of the cases, the passports are valid 10 years. So I will select 2030. You can find all this information on your parents' passport. I'm just filling some random values, random numbers here just to help you guys. And now next questions are you lawful permanent resident of United States? If yes, then say yes. If no, then no. So I'll select no. Have you held a Canadian visitor visa in the past 10 years? No. Do you currently hold a valid US non-immigrant visa? No. Are you traveling to Canada by air? Oh, yes. And once you're done, you may want to cross-check all these details and click on save and continue. Now the questions are about citizenship. So, first India. So, city of born. So, I will say Delhi for my father. Are you a citizen of more than one country or territory? No. Which country or territory you are citizen of? Okay, in India, I am a citizen of this country since birth. So yeah, here is the date of birth for my father. Just check all this information is correct. Click on save and continue. National identity document. So for those who are applying from India, for them it will be their Aadhaar number. So I'll just provide a random Aadhaar number or national identity number here. Date of issue. So just select when your Aadhaar card was issued. I'll select 1st January 2020, and country who issued this national identity document is of course India. Just verify all the numbers are fine. Click on save and continue. Name used in the past. So if your father has used any different name in the past, you can say yes and provide their old name, and you don't have to give any proof for that. You just have to add their previous name, and you can select whether it was nickname or name before marriage or previous name, and give the details here. You really don't have to provide any document for that. But in my case, my father never used any different name. I will say no. Click on save and continue. Now you have to provide the contact information, which means the address. So select the country where he lives, India. Street address. Okay, so you have to write an Indian address, 123 ABC Street. And I'll say Delhi. Postal code 112233. Is your mailing address same as your residential address? Yes. But if it is different, then just say no and provide the mailing address again. But I'll say yes. And now they're asking countries or territories of your residence. So you have to list your current country or territory of residence and then add all the previous countries and territories you have lived in the past 5 years. So for my father, it will be just India. I'll say India. What was your status? So he is a citizen in this country. So I will select his date of birth again. And this is where he lives. So I will select this option and click on save. And if your father has residency from more than one country, or he has lived for more than 6 months in the past 5 years, then you can add the details here. But in my case, it's just one country for my father. I will fill that information and click on save and continue. And now they're asking about the biometrics. Do we already have your fingerprints and photo, which means the biometrics, and they are still valid? I'll say no, because they never applied for any Canadian visa before. But if it is yes for your case, then just select yes. So when I selected no, it says that you will be required to submit your biometric after you pay the biometric fees and submit your application. So we will be paying all the fees all together, and we'll talk about that later. Just click on save and continue. And now they're asking about the invitation. Is there anyone who is inviting you to Canada? So he's my father. Of course, I'm inviting them to visit. I'll fill my details here. Gupta Arpit, relationship, family member, mailing address. Okay, so I will be providing my address here. Mailing address is already selected as Canada. You cannot change that. And now I will fill my address here. So I'll just fill my address manually because I'm just writing a temporary address. Street number, let's say 123. And I'll say street name is ABC Drive. City, town, Toronto. Province, Ontario. And postal code 1A1A 1A1. So just a random address. Telephone type, cellular. Any random phone number. Now email address. So I will use random email address here. Has someone else also invited you? So if there are multiple person who are inviting your parents, you can say yes and fill their details as well. But I don't think it's much required in most of the cases because he's my father, and I think I should be enough for inviting them. So I'll say no. I think I missed some information. Okay, here. So I have not selected the country for the phone. So I'll select Canada and the US. So again, just check all this information and verify that everything is fine. Click on save and continue. Finance. So now you need to tell that how much money your parents are bringing to Canada, or if not, then how they will be managing their finance in Canada. This is a little tricky because your parents may bring some money from India to Canada or from anywhere else to Canada along with them. But since you are inviting them, you can also take the responsibility of their finance while they are in Canada. So when my wife applied for her parents, she filled like a rough amount, 5,000, that her parents are bringing 5,000 Canadian dollar. But the next question is someone else giving you the money for your stay in Canada? And she selected yes. And now we will provide the details. This is how she filled in her parents' application. Our daughter and son-in-law will bear all the expenses during our stay in Canada, including our flight tickets. They have over X amount of dollars combined in their bank accounts. We are attaching their Canadian bank statements along with our Indian bank statements. So what we did is we provided our Canadian bank statements, as well as the parents also provided their Indian bank statements. So there is no minimum or maximum amount which you need. This amount depends on the duration of your parents' visit. So let's say if your parents are coming for around 6 months, so you need to figure out that how much money you would need for your parents for 6 months. And then accordingly, you need to fill this information and provide the relevant documents. So here, if I will apply for my parents, I will say our son and daughter-in-law. And I will not change anything because, this looks fine for me. And click on save and continue. Now you need to provide the information about your parents' education. So I will fill the details for my parents' education, my father's education. Have you ever studied at a post-secondary school, university, college, or vocational school? You don't need to have completed a degree or diploma. So I'll say yes, and then click on this add button to add the details about the education or the degree, name of the school, or maybe the institute. I'll say University of Delhi, or let's say Delhi University. From and to, so when he started the education or the degree, I'll say 1990. If you know the month, uh, then you need to select the month. I think otherwise you can leave it blank as well. But I'll say July, and it's not ongoing, obviously. So it was a 3 years degree, 93, and it completed in April. So I'm just filling some random information. Bachelor degree, field of study, I'll say business, commerce, address. So here you have to provide the address of your university. So this is the address from where your father completed the university degree. So India, and street address. So maybe you can say ABC Road, and just get the full address of your university, of your father's university, and fill the details here. Delhi. Click on save. And if your father has a master's degree too, you can add that information by clicking on this plus button. And now move on to the next question. It's about the military or police history. Did you serve in any military, militia, civil defense unit, and so on? No. And now give the details of your employment and activities in the past 10 years. So you have to provide your father's employment history. In my case, I'll just provide the details about my father's employment. So he's a businessman, and let's say he started doing that after the graduation. So I'll select January 1993, and it's ongoing work and activity. Okay, I see this detail here: business, finance, and administration occupation. But if anything else, any other option is suitable for you, fill that option. Now the job title, there are several options. So which one is more suitable for your father's occupation? Just select that option here. In my case, for my father, I will select retail salesperson. Company or employer. So just provide the name of your father's business, or maybe your father's company, or where he works. I'll say XYZ. That company. Main duties, you can say owner, or depends on your father's employment. And then the address of where your father is working. So I'll provide that address. So you need to provide not the home address, but the address where he is working. Let's say XYZ. Just provide the complete address with the, all the postal code and all. I can just try. Click on save and continue. And if your father had multiple employments in the last 10 years, just break them down and add the multiple details about your father's employment from this button. Click on save and continue. Travel history. So during the past 5 years, have you traveled to a country or territory other than the one where you are a citizen or where you live now? So in my case, my father has never traveled outside of India in the last 5 years. I will say no. But if your father has traveled outside of the country of the residence, you can say yes. If you are saying yes, you need to provide all the details about your father's travel history, that where he traveled and from which date to which date. So if you have to provide that information, just click on the add button. You have options like from and to. So when he traveled, which country, location, and what was his purpose of traveling. So in my case, it is a no. I will select no and click on save and continue. Travel history continued. Have you ever stayed in Canada beyond the validity of your status? Um, if it is yes, in your case, yes. But in my case, he has never traveled outside of India, so I will say no. Have you ever been refused a visa? Okay. So this is the case if your father has applied to a visa before for any country and it was refused. So you have to provide that detail here and all the reasons why it was refused. So you can see if you're selecting yes, you are getting further options. Provide as many details as possible about when that happened and why. This will help with the processing your application. And if you have been issued a permit since that refusal, provide that document number with the date of issue and expiry date. So I hope this is helpful for you. But in my case, my father has never applied for any visa. So of course, no refusal. I will say no and click on save and continue. Some questions about security. It will be no for all of the questions, but you can just, go through the questions and see if anything is yes in your case. I will click on save and continue. Some more questions about the same criminality and security, and I will answer no for all of them. Just read the questions and select yes or no according to your situation. Medical background questions. Have you had a medical exam performed by a IRCC authorized penal physician within the last 12 months? So I guess it is required for the super visa, but not for the regular visa. And my father never gave the medical exam to IRCC. I'll say no. But if you are saying yes, you need to fill some of the information here, like your IME, immigration medical examination record, or your UMI, unique medical identifier number. But this is also optional. But yeah, if your parent had any examination or medical exam before for the IRCC, provide that information. I will say no. Click on save and continue. Medical background questions again. In the last 2 years, were you diagnosed with tuberculosis? No. In the past 5 years, have you ever been in close contact with a person with tuberculosis? No. Click on save and continue. Currently receiving dialysis treatment? No, 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 no. Just go through the questions. If it is yes, then provide the details and click on save and continue. Marital status. Okay, so here my father is married. Date of marriage. Just provide the date of marriage for your father. I'll say, okay, let's say 1994, January 1st. So select the date of your father's or your parents' marriage. Now you need to provide your mother's detail. I mean your father's spouse detail. Gupta. I'll write mother. Let's say mother. Okay. Your mother's date of birth. You provided 70. Let's say 73. If you don't know your mother's complete date of birth, you have the option to select unknown. But if you know the dates, just provide the dates of your mother's date of birth. Country of birth, India. Present occupation. So there are several options. You can select. I'll select homemaker for my mother. Is their address same as yours? Which means if they are living together, yes. Will your spouse, common law partner, accompany you to Canada? Yes, because I'm applying for my mother and father both in this application, and this answer is yes. Save and continue. Children, do you have any biological adopted or stepchildren? Yes. And now here you have to provide all the list of your children. So let's say first I'll fill my name, Arpit, date of birth, let's say 95. I'm just filling all random information. Relationship, son, India. Does this child have the same address? No, because I'm in Canada. So I will fill my detail here, Canada, and I will type my address, 123 ABC Drive, ABC Drive, Toronto, Ontario, postal code A1A, 1A1. If the child is not in Canada, will they accompany you to Canada? So this is no, because I am already in Canada. I will not accompany them to Canada. Click on save. And now let's say I have one more, sibling, which means your parents have another child. Fill that information. I'll say like sister, my sister name, the date of birth. So date of birth, I can select 97, January 1st, daughter, and country, India. Does this child have same address as you? So it's up to you. If she's living, with your parents, then select yes. If no, then no. I'll say yes. And then if this child is not in Canada, will they accompany you to Canada? I'm not applying for my sister's visa here. I'll say no. She will not accompany my parents to Canada. Click on save. So you will see this kind of table once you fill all the children. If everything is fine, just click on save and continue. Now they are asking about the parents detail of your parents, which means you can say my grandparents detail here. If you don't have any information about your parents, you can select this. But if you do have information about them, you can add the details here. It's pretty straightforward. I'll just write my grandfather detail here, which means your father's father. Okay, so maybe you can say 1940, any random date of birth. If you don't know, then you can select unknown. And let's say, if he's not alive, date of death, you can provide the date of death. I'm just showing you the options, which you might see when you are applying for this visit visa application. Country of birth, India. So it's up to you. Like the situations are different for everyone. So I'm just showing you the options which you will see when you will apply for the visit visa. So here I filled the details of my father's father. And I will also fill the details about my, grandmother, which means my father's mother. Let's say
45. Maybe you can say no. Sorry, unknown. So anything is fine. And for her, I will say not deceased. And country of birth, India. Present occupation, let's say homemaker. Does this parent have the same address as you? Yes. And will this parent come to Canada with you? No. So you will see these kind of options if you are not, selecting this. Just click on save. And once you're done with the parents detail of your parents, click on save and continue. Now the language. So my father native language is Hindi. Can you communicate in English and or French? No, I think English is fine. What language do you want us to use to contact you? English, please. But if your father is comfortable with French, you can select the different options. Click on save and continue. Email address. So my father's email address. This is the email address where they will receive the correspondence, even if they have the representative. So make sure that you provide the email address which is working. father@gmail.com. Click on save and continue. Telephone number. So your father has to provide their telephone number here. Cellular. Of course, he's not in Canada, so it will be other. And I'll provide Indian number. Click on save. Save and continue. So you are done with your father's information here, and this is the summary page. So you can see what you have filled in this application, and if you feel that something is missing and you have not provided the right information, you can just click on edit button, go to that question again, and click on save and continue, and come back to the last step. You can also do the expand all to see all the options, all the details, all the questions on the same page. You can just go through it one by one and make sure that you have filled all the right information. And if everything looks fine, just click on save and continue. But I will also suggest you to save this page just for your reference. It comes perfectly in the landscape mode, just to make sure that what information you have filled in your application, just for your reference. So it's better to save this as a PDF file separately. So once you have saved this document, click on save and continue. And now here on this page, you will see that what documents you need to upload for this application. So I see there are some supporting documents. So your national identity document, which is your Aadhaar card, your passport, your proof of funds, use of representative form, because we selected yes for the use of representative, the marriage certificate, and then there are some optional documents like consent, personal information, employment letter, additional documents. I can expand all if you just want to go through these documents, but I will make a separate video where I will talk about all these documents which you need for your parents' visit visa application. And now what I will do is I will save. I have already saved this information, and I will go back to the group table. So you can see that my father's information has already populated here. And now I will do the same for my mother's information. So now what I will do is I will click on this continue button, and fill all the details about my mother.
So again, I will see the same set of questions which I have seen for my father's application. I'm filling this application on my mother's behalf. I want to apply for a visitor visa or super visa, and then I will choose this option because I am their non-dependent child who is a Canadian citizen or the permanent resident. And now tell us more about what you will do in Canada, including the dates. So I will suggest that do the same. Whatever the information you have given for your father, just copy paste the same thing here as well. Our son and daughter-in-law are PR in Canada. We want to visit them and spend some quality time. So we are planning for a tourist visa to Canada. Our planned arrival in Canada is on 1st June 2024, and we intend to stay at their residence in Toronto. During our visit, we plan to explore various nearby tourist attractions in Canada. Our return journey is scheduled for 30th September 2024. And the next questions are when you will enter and when you will leave Canada. So I'll say June 1st, 2024, they will enter Canada, and September 30th, they will leave. So I'm repeating again that you need to provide your fixed dates that when you will enter Canada or when you will leave Canada. Don't be like 3 weeks or 6 months. Just provide the exact dates. And UCI, if you know UCI, then fill that. But my mother never had any IRCC application before, so I will leave it blank. Click on save and continue. Now it tells about the documents you need for this application, which means your mother need for this application. So basically a passport and a letter of invitation from you. And now same set of information we need to provide for mother as well. We have already did for father. Now we will give the same information for your mother. So click on continue to application. Representative. So you see some of the options are pre-selected because it's a group application, but still if you want to change something, you can do that. So we'll just check whether everything is right or not. Are you applying on behalf of someone else? Yes. Who are you in relation to the person you are helping? Family member. And then I will provide my information here, my name, my phone number, my mailing address. Then the email address. Just go through this information once, and if everything is fine, just click on save and continue. And now travel information. So here you need to provide the information about your mother. So I'll write my mother's name here, Gupta Geeta, and date of birth. So here you will provide the date of birth of your mother. I'll just write a sample date of birth, then gender female, save and continue. And now the travel document of the applicant. So here you need to provide the passport details of your mother. So what documents are you traveling with? It will be passport, and what kind of passport? It's a regular passport. So in most of the cases, it will be the regular passport. Select the country code that matches the one on your passport. India. What's the nationality on your passport? India. What's your passport or travel document number? So I'll just provide a random passport number. Confirm. I need to just write the same. So this is just a random passport number. I'm providing here date of issue. I'll say January 1st, 2020. And date of expiry, it's valid for almost 10 years. I'll select 2030, January 1st. And then few extra questions. Are you lawful permanent resident of US? No. Held any Canadian visitor visa before in the past 10 years? No. Do you currently hold a valid US non-immigrant visa? No. Are you traveling by air to Canada? Yes. Save and continue. Citizenship. So country where you were born. So my mother was born in India. City, I'll say Delhi. City of born, Delhi. Are you citizen of more than one country? No. Which country or territory are you citizen of? India. And I am citizen of this country since birth. Save and continue. If anything changes, if anything is different for you guys, select that option and fill the information accordingly.
Save and continue. Do you have a valid national identity document? So for Indians, it's the Aadhaar card. I'll write a random Aadhaar card number 35236523. Date of issue, I'll say, let's say January 1st, 2021. And select the country who issued this document. So it's India. It's all random information. So you need to provide your national identity document information here. Save and continue. Have you used any other name in the past? So in some cases, your mother might have a different name before marriage. So you have that option to select here. Let's say I will say name before marriage or maiden name. I'll say the. It was same for my mother. I'm just showing you an example that you can write the previous name and click on save. But you don't need to provide any documentation or any proof for your previous name. So that's a good thing. Click on save and continue. Countries or territories of residence. So everywhere it will be India. Street address. It will be the same address which you selected for your father. So I'll just write 123 ABC Street. Delhi, postal code 112233. Is your mailing address same as your residential address? Yes. List your current country or territory of residence, then add all other country or territories where you have lived in the past 5 years for more than 6 months. My mother has never been outside of India in last 5 years, so I will just provide the information for India. What's your status? Citizen. And from when? It will be since birth. So I think I selected 73. And this is where I currently live. Save and continue. Do we already have your fingerprints and photos, which means the biometrics? No, my mother never gave any biometrics to IRCC. Save and continue. Who is inviting you? So I'm the one who is inviting them to Canada. I'll fill my information again. Relationship to you, family member. Billing address is Canada. And I'll just write my address 123 ABC Drive. Toronto, Ontario, A1, A1, A1. Then I'll provide the phone number. Just a simple, random phone number. I'll provide my email address. Has someone else also invited you? I'll say no because I'm the one who is inviting them. Finance. So you can fill the same information which you have filled for your father. So how much money she's bringing? 5,000. And is someone else giving you the money for your stay in Canada? Yes. And then here you will provide the explanation. So my mother will provide the same information that our son and daughter-in-law will bear all the expenses during our stay in Canada, including our flight tickets. They have over X amount of dollars combined in their bank accounts. We are attaching their Canadian bank statements along with our Indian bank statements. Click on save and continue. Now we are on the education page. So here you need to provide the education history of your mother. Have you ever studied at a post-secondary school, which means university, college, or vocational school? I'll say yes and fill that information. Here you need to provide the institute name. And then select the year. I'll just write, let's say 93 from July and 96. April. So just a random information I'm providing here. Level of study, I'll say bachelor degree, and then field of study, I'll say business and commerce. But if there is anything else which is applicable for you, in your case, for your mother, so you can select that option here. And now you need to provide the address for your university, India, and just provide the address, ABC University Road, 115522. Just you need to provide a full address for your university and Delhi. So I'm just filling all this random information to show you guys what options you will see there. And if you have more degrees to add, you can do the same by clicking on this button. And now I'll move on to the next questions. Military experience, no. And here now you need to give your mother's employment history. So basically my mother is a housewife. So I will click here. I'll select the from and to. I'll say 1994, January. That's when my father and mother got married, according to this application. And it's an ongoing, and she's a homemaker. Address, it will be the same address where your father lives. India. Street address 123 ABC Street. Delhi. Just you need to provide, like complete address with the postal code and all. Click on save and continue. Save and continue. Travel history during the past 5 years. Have you traveled to a country or territory other than the one where you are a citizen or where you live now? No, my mother has never traveled outside of India before, so I'll say no. But if it is yes in your case, just you need to, provide that information accordingly. I'll just say no and click on save and continue. Travel history again, it will be no for my mother. But if it is yes in your case, you need to say yes and provide the valid reasons. Now some questions about criminality and security. And it will be no for all of them. You can just go through the question and select the one which is applicable in your case. Again, no and no. Save and continue. Medical background questions. So my mother never took the medical exam from IRCC. And now again, some questions related to medical history. I'll say no, no. So just go through the questions and select the one which is more appropriate in your situation. Again, some questions regarding the medical background, and for all of them, it's no for my mother. And now here you need to provide some of the family information about your mother, like the marital status. So married. Here you will select the date of marriage, 1994, January 1st. Name of spouse for your mother, which means your father's name. Your father's date of birth. Country or territory of birth, India. Present occupation, I'll say business. Is the address the same as yours? Yes. Will your spouse, common law partner, accompany you to Canada? Yes, because they both are coming to Canada together. Save and continue. And now you need to provide the information about your mother's children. Do you have any biological, adopted, or stepchildren? Yes. Basically, it will be the same information which you gave in your father's application. So first, I will provide my information here. relationship, son, country of birth, India. Does this child have the same address? No, because I'm in Canada, and here I will provide my Canadian address. One, two, three, ABC, right. City, Toronto, province, Ontario, A1A, 1A1, postal code. If this child is not in Canada, will they accompany you? No, because I'm already in Canada. Save. And again, if you have any sibling, just add that information. So here I will just enter the information about my sister. Date of birth, let's say 97 January. Relationship, daughter. Country of birth, India. Does this child have the same address? Yes, but if no, then you can provide the present address of your mother's daughter, which means your sister. If this child is not in Canada, will they accompany you? No, she's not coming in this application. Click on save. Save and continue. And now you need to provide the information about your parents' parents. So if you don't know who are their parents, you have the option to select. But if you do know, then you can just add that information. So here I will provide the information of my mother's father. Date of birth, let's say any random date, 1930. And just suppose that we don't know the date or the month. This parent is deceased. And let's say 2000. And yeah, for the date of death, you cannot select any unknown day or month. You need to provide the exact full date. Country of birth, India. Save. Similarly, I will provide the information about my mother's mother. But don't worry, if you don't know any of these information, you already had the option to select that I don't know who my parents are. Now, date of birth, say 35. Unknown. Unknown. Now, let's say 2001, January. Country of birth. Once you're done, click on save and continue. Language of the applicant. So English is fine for my mother. But if you think that you need to select French, both or neither, you can do that. And the native language, I forgot to select Hindi. Click on save and continue. Email address. So you need to provide mother's email address. Remember to provide a valid email address because you might receive an update from IRCC, even though you have appointed a representative. Save and continue. Telephone number, you need to provide your mother's telephone number here. So I will provide her Indian number. So just a random phone number. Save and continue. So here is the summary of the information which you filled for your mother. You can expand all and just verify the information once again, whatever you have filled. And if you feel that you need to change something, you can click on the edit button of that section, go there and change the information and come back to this page. Once you are sure that everything looks fine, it's better to take the screenshot, as I have mentioned in the father's application as well. It's better to have it in, for your reference. So just save it as a PDF in your system. So once you have saved this file and everything looks okay, click on Save and Continue. Now you're on the page where you need to upload the documents. So you have filled all the information about your father and mother, and now you need to upload the documents for your father and mother. And remember that you need to upload the documents separately for your father and mother. Some of the documents might be common, but you need to upload them separately. But for now, I will just click on Return to Group Table. So you see that now you have filled the information about your father and mother both. You just need to upload the documents. And once that is done, you will click on I confirm and click on Save and Continue. But for now, you cannot do that because the document section is pending. As you can see that I have completely filled the information for my mother and father both in this group travel visa application. Now I will upload the required documents separately for both of them. I'll start with my father first. So I will click on this Continue button. So this is the page where you will upload the documents for your father. Well, the list of documents depend on what kind of visa you are applying for and how you have answered the questions in your previous pages. You need to upload all the documents in the supporting section below for your father and again for your mother on a different page. Then pay the combined fees and submit the group application. Then there is some information about the file size and type. So in short, each of your documents should be under 2 MB, and I personally prefer the PDF format because it's easy when it comes to merge multiple pages or reduce the total size. So we have two sections here, supporting documents and optional documents. In the supporting documents, we have the national identity document, passport or your travel document, proof of funds, use of representative form, and the marriage certificate. And then for the optional section, there is a consent personal information form, employer letter form, additional documents. But in the most of the cases, you just need to provide the additional documents where you will be highlighting some of your points which could make your profile stronger. So it also says that any additional documents or explanations that you think may assist the processing officer. I'll show you in this video how we prepared this document and what additional information we provided to IRCC. And to save some time, I'm not going to talk about the employer letter and the consent personal information form. You can just go through the description, and if you feel that you need to upload these documents, then you can prepare that. But in my case, I never uploaded anything on these sections. Now let's look at the supporting documents as well. The first we have here is the national identity document. So you may have some requirements for the national identity document, which is that it should have your photograph, it should be issued by the official authority and must be issued by your country of citizenship or the permanent residence. It should have your name, date of birth, the document number, date of issue and expiry, and so on. Don't worry about the expiry date for the Aadhaar card if you are from India, but if you are missing something else, you may need to combine the multiple documents into this section. So this is a straightforward document. I will have this in the PDF format for my father, and I will upload this now. Make sure that you name the document accordingly. So you can see that this is the place where I have all the documents for my father, and I have the national identity document here. And you can see that I have named it as SK, which is the initial of my father, and then national identity document. I can just open it and show you. So that's the national identity document for my father. I will just upload this one to the IRCC portal account. So as you can see that I just uploaded the national identity document for my father. Then you need to upload your passport or the travel document. I will just read the requirement. It just says that you must provide a copy of your pages that shows your birth date, country of origin, which means your first and last page of the passport, and also any pages with the stamps, visa, or markings. So if there are any stamps in your passport from any previous visits, do not forget to add them as well in the document. And also you need to provide a color copy of your passport or the travel document. So just do not provide any black and white version of the passport. And if I open the list of documents for my father again, here is the passport. So you can see that I have added the first page and the last page of my father's passport. And if you have any pages with the stamps, so you can just add those pages as well in the same file. So I'm going to upload this file for this application. So I'll click on the add file. I will select the passport and click on open. So I have loaded the passport. Now let's see the proof of funds. As I have mentioned before in my previous videos that there is no minimum requirement to show the proof of funds. It basically depends on the duration of your trips. So let's say if you're coming for just 1 or 2 months, maybe a $5,000 should be enough too. But if you are mentioning that you will leave Canada after 5 or 6 months, you may need to recalculate your expenses and then show the total funds according to that. So basically there are two options. The first one is you won't be getting the financial support. And the second option is that you will depend on someone financially during your stay in Canada. So for the option one, if you are not getting any support, then show that you can support yourself and any dependent who will accompany you while in Canada by providing one or more of the following pieces of evidence, which is the bank statement for the past 4 months, a certified check, bank draft or money order, or any written statements that a processing officer will be able to confirm. But if you will depend on someone financially during your stay in Canada, so in that case, that person needs to confirm that he or she is giving you the money for your stay in Canada and must attach their bank statements. For example, if I am inviting my parents here, I can say that I will bear all the expenses, including the flight tickets, and then I will attach my Canadian bank statements to prove that I have enough money to support my parents' expenses here in Canada. Now let's see the proof of funds file for this application. Since this can be exactly same for my both parents, I named it as SK Geeta Proof of Funds. So let's open it. Well, I'm showing you the document which my wife used for her parents. We added 30 pages in this file application, and the first page is the confirmation from our side that we will bear all the expenses for our parents. So here on the top, I have the name of father and mother, their date of birth, and then here on the right, I am writing that it's a travel visa application, then a name, Aishi Gupta, my wife's name, the address, phone number, and email ID. It says the proof of funds. Then we have the letter of financial support for my parents' temporary stay in Canada. I will just quickly read what I have written here. So I'm saying that, dear Canadian immigration official, visa officers, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing this to confirm my financial support for my parents. Then name of your parents. During their temporary stay in Canada, they plan to be in Canada from this to this date for tourism and visiting me and my husband. As their daughter, I am committed to providing financial assistance to ensure their stay is comfortable and stress-free, and I understand the financial responsibilities involved and hereby confirm the following details. The amount of financial support. So I am committing to providing financial support amounting to this much Canadian dollar or more during my parents' temporary stay in Canada. And proof of sufficient funds, which is below in this letter. I am providing my last 4 months of bank account statements showing this much amount in Canadian bank account, and my husband Arpit Gupta also has promised to provide any extra financial help if needed. My husband has this much amount in his Canadian bank account, so in total we have this much amount in our Canadian bank accounts, which I believe is more than enough to support my parents for their short and temporary stay in Canada. I'm fully aware of the financial responsibilities associated with my parents' stay, and I'm prepared to meet any unforeseen expenses that may arise, please do not hesitate to contact me. If you require any information or documents to support this commitment, I can be reached at this number. Thank you for considering this request. I am looking forward to my parents' visit to Canada and trust that they will have a wonderful and memorable experience. And then you're just writing your name and the date. And then on the second page, I'm mentioning that what we are going to include in this file for the proof of fund. So first, we are going to include the invitation letter. Then we are providing the relationship evidence between Ayushi Gupta and her parents, because that is also one of the requirement that the person must also provide the evidence for their relationship with you. So that is why we are attaching Ayushi's passport and the birth certificate. And we are also attaching Ayushi's PR card to prove her status in Canada, employment confirmation letter, the bank statements for last 4 months, and then I am also attaching my employment confirmation letter and the bank statement for last 4 months. And then here we are attaching the income tax return and the bank statements for father, proof of investments under father's name, then income tax returns and bank statements on my mother's name, and again the proof of investments on mother's name. So this was the exact document which we used for when my wife was applying for her parents. So Aishu is my wife and my name is Arpit, and this is how we drafted the proof of fund letter. And if I scroll down, this is the invitation letter. You can just follow the same format and change some details if needed according to your situation. I'll just quickly show you what we have done. So on the top, we have father's name and mother's name, their date of birth. It is a travel visa application. Then this is the invitation letter which Ayushi, my wife, is writing to her parents. So that's why we have Ayushi's name here, the address, contact number, and email ID. And then on the subject, we are saying it's the letter of invitation for my parents, and then name of your parents. Dear Canadian immigration officials or visa officer, I'm providing this letter of invitation on behalf of my parents, whom I wish to invite to Canada. My name is Ayushi Gupta and the date of birth is this. I am a Canadian permanent resident and I live at this address in Canada. I can be reached at this number. I work at this company as a, then your designation. I am currently married to Arpit Gupta. He is also a PR in Canada and live with me at the same address as mentioned above. Through this letter, I'm inviting my parents, then name of your parents, to Canada from this date to this date. My father was born on this date and my mother was born on this date. They both currently live in India at this address in Delhi, India. Their contact numbers are this and this respectively. Then the purpose. The purpose of visit is to spend some quality time with us here in Canada. We recently bought our first home in Canada, so we would like to invite them for a small housewarming ceremony too. Additionally, they will be visiting nearby tourist attractions. Although they are only coming for a short period of time, they will be going back to India on this date. They are very excited to visit us from now itself. And then in this paragraph, you need to talk about the home ties or the ownership or the property of your parents. And at the end, I'm saying that being a responsible citizen of India, both my father and mother file the income tax return every year. During their visit, they will be bringing some money. So this is the money they will be bringing to Canada for the emergency needs. However, being their daughter, I will bear all the expenses here in Canada. They will live with us at our own house and will be visiting all the places with us. My husband and I have enough funds, this much amount, in our Canadian bank accounts. So to accommodate their complete trip to Canada, I also plan to purchase their travel and health insurance from this company once their visit visa is approved. And then I'm again saying or repeating the same thing, that they will not overstay, as my father is maybe, let's say, businessman or any other designation in India. And my mother is, let's say, a teacher or housewife or something like that. They also have a son or daughter, maybe your siblings, who works in Delhi, India, so they have no intent to stay as the legal immigrants. So this is how we drafted the invitation letter, and we are directly addressing this invitation letter to IRCC, not to the parents. Anyway, any format is fine. It's just up to you what format you want to adopt. This is how we drafted the invitation letter when my wife invited her parents, and we had no issues for the visa approval. And then in the below pages, I am attaching these documents which I have mentioned above. So this will help the IRCC officers to know that what documents we are attaching in this file and on which page he can look for that document. Well, I know it's too much. You can adjust the formatting of the document according to your need, but this is how we uploaded the proof of document funds, and the visit visa was approved without any issues. So I will close this now and upload this document here. Proof of funds, add files, SK Gita proof of funds, open. So I have uploaded the proof of funds document here. Now the next one is the use of representative, IMM 5476. So in your previous questions, if you have not opted for the use of representative, so you will not see that form. If you have opted the use of representative, you will see this option to upload the use of representative IMM 5476 document. You can download this form online from the IRCC website. Make sure that you are downloading the latest form. I have already downloaded and filled the form. I will just show you what details I had to fill. It's very small form, just a 3-page document. And I am appointing our representative. So I will check this box. And if I'm checking this box, I need to just complete section A, B, and D. Section A is about the applicant information. So here I will write my father's detail here. So father's name, his date of birth, and then these things are not applicable. So I'm writing NA. Section B is the appointment of representative. That's where you will write the representative information. So in this application, I am being the representative for my father. So I will write my details here, my name, and then I am a family or I'm a friend of family member. And then here the contact information. So I don't have any firm or organization, NA, and NA, whatever is not applicable, just write NA. And then here I will provide my Canadian address, my phone number, email ID, and the signature. I will write, I will do my signature here and I will put the date. Section C is not applicable. It's if you are canceling the appointment of the representative. So I filled NA. And then on this page, it's the declaration by your father. So your father will sign this document here and write the date. That's it. This is all about the IMM 5476, and you need to fill this document again separately for your mother. So for your mother, in the section A, you will write your mother's detail, mother's name and date of birth. And section B will be the same. And in the section D, your mother's signature is required. So I hope you are clear with this IMM 5476 form. So I will upload this document here. Use of representative, add file, IMM 5476, click open, and yeah, this has been uploaded. Now the marriage certificate. Well, my wife's parents do not have the marriage certificate. So what we did, we wrote a small explanation, and I'll show you what we did. So here I have made a document for the marriage certificate, but inside that I am writing the explanation and I am attaching the supporting documents. So I'm saying it's a proof of marriage and providing the alternate documents. I'm addressing this to IRCC and saying that I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing this letter to you regarding not having a marriage certificate. I, name of your father, was married to, then name of your mother, on this date in Delhi. We have been happily married for more than 30 years now. We have two beautiful children, and you can just write the details. Uh, this is the information we provided. You can just tailor, all these wordings according to your situation. And I'm saying that our daughter is the one who is a Canadian PR now and inviting us to visit her in Canada. Since I do not have the official marriage certificate from the government, I am providing you the other official documents to prove my marriage with my wife, then your mother's name. Below is the list of documents I am providing for the same. My passport, please check my name, which means your father's name, and my spouse name, which means your mother's name. And then second document is your my wife's passport, so which means here you will be providing your mother's name and her spouse name, your father's name. And the third supporting document is the birth certificate for my daughter. So please find the father's name and mother's name on the birth certificate. And if I scroll down, so I have on the first page, I have father's document, then I have mother's passport. Here I have father's passport, then mother's passport. And on the next page, it's the birth certificate for my wife, which has father's name and mother's name both, which proves that they both are married. And I will have the same document for my mother section as well, but I will change few wordings. I will say that here I will write mother's name was married to your father's name. And then again here I will say that to prove my marriage with my husband, your father's name. And here you will say my passport, which means please check my name, which means your mother's name, my spouse name, your father's name. And then here you will say my husband's passport in your mother's document. So please check my husband's name and his spouse name. And this is going to be the same, and all these files will be the same. So I created two separate files and changed the wordings accordingly, whether it is for father or mother. So I hope you understand that how I prepared the marriage certificate, because we did not have the marriage certificate. And now I'm going to upload this document here. Marriage certificate. I'll select this, click on open, and the document has been uploaded. So we are done with the supporting documents, and now let's look into the optional ones. And as I said that we only uploaded the additional documents under the optional documents section. And it says that any additional documents or explanations that you think may assist the processing officer. So here is the document for the additional document, and even this document is going to be the same for my father and mother. So I will not make a duplicate or separate copy of this. I will upload the same document for my father as well as in my mother's section. And let's see what I have inside this document. And again, this is also a 30-page file. I have the index page first, so I'm adding the invitation letter here. I have the itinerary or the purpose of visit, then the ties to home country, which includes the ownership of, the properties and all, the passport stamps from the previous visits to foreign countries, because my wife's parents did visit some foreign countries before coming to Canada. And we provided those, the stamp pages. Property ownership proof of our daughter Ayushi Gupta and son-in-law Arpit Gupta, which means that we purchased a property or the house here in Canada. So we also provided those pages to support our application, because in the proof of funds, we mentioned that they are coming for the housewarming ceremony. So just to support that statement, we are providing this document here. And then at the end, we are providing the PR cards for Ayushi and Arpit both, just to prove our status in Canada. So it's up to you. It's an optional document. So if you think that by providing a certain document, your application may become little stronger, so please feel free to add those documents under this additional document section. So let's see, just scroll down. First, I have the invitation letter. So it's the same page which you saw on the proof of funds file. It's the same invitation letter. Then if I scroll down further, I have the itinerary, and I'm saying the purpose of visit and itinerary. This is how I drafted this one. Dear Canadian immigration officials or visa officers, our intended travel dates to Canada are from this date to this date. Throughout our stay, we plan to reside at our daughter's Ayushi's residence located at this address in Canada. Our primary reason for our visit is to see our daughter Ayushi in Canada and attend a small housewarming ceremony that she and her husband wish to hold in our honor. They acquired their new home in Canada, and we have enclosed the necessary documents as proof of their property ownership. Additionally, while in Canada, we intend to explore nearby attractions in these places and other places of interest. In summary, our visit to Canada serves two main purposes: visiting our daughter and son-in-law, engaging in tourism activities, exploring cities like Toronto, Calgary, Ottawa, Montreal, etc. We appreciate your consideration of our visa application and are committed to adhering all rules and regulations during our stay. And then thanks, write your mother and father name and the date. If I scroll down below, I'm writing few details about the ties to their home country in India. So again, I'm writing this letter to IRCC and saying that we, as a responsible citizen of India, are seeking the opportunity to visit our daughter and son-in-law in Canada from this date to this date. I am, then the name, while my wife name and your occupation. We would like to provide you some details about the ties and commitments in India. So the residence, so if you own the house, you can provide the details about the ownership of your house, which means I'm talking about the parents in India. And here the vehicle ownership. So if your parents have any vehicles on their name, you can write that information here. Investments, if you have any if your parents have any investments, just write those details here. Previous visits to foreign country, so just write that detail here as well. These aspects underline our strong connections and commitments to our home country India. Given our familial and professional responsibilities, we assure you that our visit to Canada will be temporary and we are committed to return to India on this date. We appreciate your consideration of our visa application and assure you of our compliance with all regulations during our stay in Canada, and signature or maybe the name of your father and mother. So as you mentioned about all these points, don't forget, and it's required to to attach all the documents which support your claims in these points. So at below, on the rest of the pages, I am attaching the documents which supports the claims of my of the home ties for my parents. I hope this is also clear for you guys. I will just close this one and upload it to the portal. Click on Add File, SK Gita Additional Documents, click on Open, and you can see you have uploaded the additional documents. So you have uploaded all the supporting documents for your father. You have uploaded the optional document, which is just one for your father. Again, what you will do is you will go back to the group table And now you have to upload the same documents, not the same document, I mean individual documents which are for your mother under this section. So I will click on continue. So once you click on continue, you will see the same page where you need to upload all the documents for your mother. I will not going to open or show you anything. I'll just keep uploading all the documents very quickly. So here I have my mother's folder. So it was the national identity document. I'll upload this one. And then the passport. I'll upload my mother's passport, proof of funds. This is actually common document for your father and mother, and I will upload this one here. Then the use of representative form is this one. The marriage certificate is this one. So all the supporting documents are done. And then for the optional document, there is one more. There's just one additional document, and it's again the common between your father and mother. I'm going to upload that one. So now we can say that we have uploaded all the documents for your father and mother. What I'll do is I don't have to go back again in case if you want to make any change or adjustments, you can do that. But if you think that you have filled all the information and that is accurate and you have uploaded all the correct documents, what you will do is you will go next step, which is save and continue. And again, yes, so the save and continue you have to do for both of your parents. So what I will do is I will do it in step. I will go to the return to group table. I'll do one by one. So first I will go on my father's page, click on continue. So you can see that you have all the documents uploaded here. What you'll do is you will click on save and continue. And then you have some consent and declaration form. Just click yes that you consent. Your surname. I'll write my father's surname or last name. And the first name. The first name is optional, but anyway, I will write it. And then click on save and continue. So you are done with the declaration part for the father, and now it says complete. Similarly, you will do the same thing for your mother. Click on continue. You will see all the documents which you uploaded for your mother. Click on save and continue here. Now this is the consent and declaration page for your mother. Click yes. Write your mother's last name and first name. Click on save and continue. So now you have completed this application for both of your parents, and you have a little message here which says that you now need to tell us who is the principal applicant for your group and how each applicant is related to this person. So we will see this information in the next slides. So click on this button that I confirm I have completed this application in this group. Click on save and continue. And here you have option to select who will be the principal applicant. So it's up to you. In my case, I am making my father as the principal applicant. But if you want to change, you can just click here and change the principal applicant to your mother. Click on save and continue. And now you need to specify that how they both are related. So I'll say spouse because they are husband and wife. So it says that you are now ready to pay and submit your applications. Click on save and continue. The fees page, you will see the fees. We have 2 members here, so that's why it's $200 for each, and we have $85 each for the biometrics. So there are two persons, so we will pay $170 for the biometrics. This is the total amount you will be paying. You can use your any credit card to pay this application fees. Just click on save and continue and write the details about your credit card and complete the transaction. Once you do that, you will receive few messages in your IRCC account. I'll show you where. So I'll just do the exit transaction. And after you make the payment, you will see your submitted application here, and any new messages which you have in this IRCC portal. So I think that is all about the document section for this video, and the overall series which we did. We talked about how to create this online portal account. We talked about how to fill this complete application form for both of your parents. We talked about what documents we need to upload and how to prepare those documents. So I hope this video was useful, and please share this video with your friends or parents whom you want to invite, and just like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. We will be posting few more videos on overall Canada visa application process. Thank you.